Now it is time to answer this question that is presented to you. The first thing to do is to give an outline on how you intend to answer this question. In your IELTS exam, the outlining, your planning would not be assessed. So you only need to do this as fast as possible and abbreviate as much as you can in your planning stage. In your writing stage, do not abbreviate, do not shorten your words. But in the planning stage, because the planning stage would not be assessed, then you can abbreviate, you can quickly write some short words, acronyms, just to keep with the time for planning. In this essay, we want to follow this outline. The first is to begin with paraphrasing the prompts, then stating our opinion. In this particular essay, let's choose to disagree with that statement, and then we have the paragraph 1. This is exactly what we would be addressing in paragraph 1. You want to discuss maturity and responsibility. You want to provide examples why it is important to increase the legal age. Yeah, it is important to increase the legal age, but it is not the only solution to this problem. So you have to also agree with the fact that if the legal age is increased, then it would reduce road accidents. However, it is not the only point. So let's look at what paragraph 2 would be all about. So paragraph 2 would serve as your counterpoint. So it's the point, it's your main point in this essay. So paragraph 2 want to tell us what exactly should be done other than increasing the legal age. So in this essay, we want to talk about effectiveness of training programs. So we want to talk about increasing effectiveness in training programs. In paragraph 3, we want to discuss other alternative measures like good road networks. And finally, we want to conclude. And in this conclusion, we want to restate our opinion. We want to summarize our opinion. So let's take, for example, this is your outline. So you want to write an essay based on this outline that you've generated for yourself. Let's go into details. So let's begin by paraphrasing this statement. What do you think is the best way to paraphrase this statement? This is the question again. Some people think that the only way to increase road safety is to increase the minimum legal age for driving cars or motorbikes. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, so how should we paraphrase this statement? You want to put this statement in your own words at the beginning of your essay. How do you do that? Let's look at this sample paraphrase. So this is a sample paraphrase. Many individuals, or we could say a lot of people, a lot of individuals have argued or argue that raising the legal driving age is the only effective method of enhancing road safety. That is the prompt, that is the statement. So you have now paraphrased the question, the prompt, in your own words in the beginning of that essay. This is exactly what you must do at the beginning of your first paragraph, at the beginning of your introductory paragraph. You need to paraphrase the statement, the prompt. You need to paraphrase the prompt just like this. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but this is a sample of how a paraphrase from a prompt would look like. Let's then move on to the next step, which is stating your opinion. Do you want to agree or you want to disagree with this statement? And let's look at this sample statement. Many individuals argue that raising the legal age is the only effective method of enhancing road safety. While I disagree with this view, I believe that other strategies such as improved driving education are equally important. So improved driving education and good road network. Good road network. So because we are talking about 2 points, so we have to put those 2 points in this paragraph that, because increasing the legal age is not the only method, is not the only way, then we have to include other ways like improving road safety and road driving education, and also providing good road networks. Now let's move on to talking about the body paragraph. So the body paragraph would begin by at first agreeing with the statement of those people that said or that say that increasing legal age is the only way. Yeah, when the legal age is increased, then there will be reduction in driving road accidents. But why? So let's look at it here. So we are looking at the second paragraph now, which is one significant reason for increasing the minimum legal driving age is that young drivers often lack the maturity required to handle complex driving situations. So this is the reason for increasing the legal age, right? Then this person move on by saying that studies have shown that drivers aged 16 to 18 are involved in a disproportionately high number of accidents compared to older drivers. That is evidence. For instance, a report by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration indicated that teenage drivers are 3 times more likely to be involved in fatal crashes than those aged 25 and older. This suggests that age plays a critical role in driving competence. So this person is trying to accept what people think in the next paragraph at first. So if you look at this paragraph, what did you notice? Look at this paragraph very well in different colors. I intentionally use these different colors, and yellow stands for the point. Okay, so that is the point. Then the blue sentence, the sentence in blue stands for the evidence, and then the for instance blah 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 stands for the example. So when you are given an example, you begin with for instance, with for example, you understand, and then the last one is like an explanation or linking. So we have the P in this paragraph. So you don't have to have all the P's, but some significant levels of P would help you to improve your paragraph writing or development. Okay, now we move on to the next paragraph, which is discussing alternative methods. So we have talked about the legal age, and here we want to talk about the effectiveness of training programs, which is the other part of our outline. So we have the statement here that, however, when a paragraph begins with however, then it means that you want to counter a particular statement or you want to counter a particular point. So because we have mentioned that increasing driving age would help reduce road accidents. Now we want to talk about other measures. So we begin by saying, however, only raising the legal age may not be sufficient to ensure road safety. Other measures, such as improving driving education program, can also significantly reduce road accidents. Now, this person has given us the points. Now, let's look at the example. For example, countries that require comprehensive training and assessment for new drivers, regardless of age, have seen a marked decrease in traffic fatality. Then we have the explanation or a linking. Therefore, a multifaceted approach that includes better education alongside restrictions may be more effective. So this person has given us a counterpoint. So this point has evidence. This point has evidence and example with explanation. So this is how to improve your paragraph, to develop your paragraph. So let's move on to the third paragraph. Yeah, so in this paragraph, we want to also counter the point. Then we want to talk about ensuring good roads. In the previous paragraph, we talked about ensuring driving education, but here we want to talk about good road network. So let's look at this example. So this paragraph begins with furthermore. So you need to use this linking word when you start your paragraph in order to help the reader to understand where you are coming from and where you're going to. So this is called signposting. So signposting is that you are helping the reader to understand where you are and where you're going to. So saying something like furthermore, moreover means that you want to begin, you want to state another points, another important point. So furthermore, it is also crucial to ensure good road network for road users. For instance, well-constructed roads with drivers, with traffic lights, speed limits, cameras, and signs would keep drivers and riders in check. This is why many developed countries where these measures are put in place hardly record road accidents compared to other countries. This effective approach would not only keep the vehicle under control, but also safety for pedestrians and other road users. So if you notice this particular paragraph, it has the points, it has the example, like the evidence, it has the explanation, and it has a linking. Okay, so this paragraph also make use of words that are related to transport, that are related to roads, like pedestrians, okay, like accidents, like riders, and all like that, constructed. So these are words, vocabulary you need to put into your writing as well. So you have to incorporate relevant vocabulary in your writing. And finally, let's talk about the concluding paragraph. So the concluding paragraph is the concluding paragraph is a paragraph where you summarize your points and also emphasize your statement, your view. So you use the concluding paragraph to emphasize why your points are relevant to the situation. So it is very, very important to conclude in task 2. However, you should not state a new point in your concluding paragraph. It is not allowed. So concluding paragraph is there to summarize your points and emphasize that your points are valid, are relevant. Use that as another stepping stone to convince the reader, which is your examiner. So let's look at an example of a concluding paragraph. So this is an example of a concluding paragraph. In conclusion, or finally, or in summary, these are words to begin concluding paragraph. In conclusion, while increasing the minimum legal age for driving could enhance road safety by addressing the maturity levels of young drivers, it is essential to consider additional strategies such as improved training programs, which is our first point, and ensuring good road networks, which is our second point. Then a combination of these approaches is likely to yield the best results in reducing traffic accidents. So you use this to conclude. You can use this statement to conclude your essay. This is a beautiful conclusion. So it has a summary of the points you have addressed in the body paragraphs, and then emphasizing with the last sentence that these points are valid to reducing road accidents. Now, as you can see, we have the first paragraph, and then followed by the second paragraph, and followed by the third paragraph and fourth paragraph, and with a concluding paragraph. So we have altogether about 5 paragraphs in this essay.